Did he deserve to get suspended? It's simple question. Suspended for game 3, big time game. It could potentially cost the Warriors a 3-0 deficit. I mean, what are your
We
thoughts,
know.
Trey?
I was gonna say we know where you're going. So let me go because I feel like
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not gonna have the same opinion as you guys. I don't think he should have gotten suspended. I honestly don't even think what he did was so insane. Ejecting him was bad enough. And now on top of it, you're suspending him. And you can understand the reason why he was suspended. It's not the play. I feel like it's the history of Draymond Green, and that's what led to this decision because he plays so strongly, so passionately, a little bit too aggressive at times, and it leads to this. He's extremely vocal on the court. I feel like his history is why he got suspended. However, I'll say this. I think that in the moment, you have natural human reactions. And if another man grabs you in that situation, or you even have the idea that he's grabbing you, what are you supposed to do? Let's say that Sabonis grabs Draymond's leg, and Draymond doesn't do what he does. He doesn't step on Sabonis. And instead now Draymond twists his ankle. He falls to the floor. Is Sabonis getting suspended? Is Sabonis getting ejected? It's just so situational now where, yes, Sabonis initiated. He started the issue. Draymond Green followed it up by something that wasn't the best of moves. I wouldn't say that it was great, but I don't think ejecting him was right. If you were going to eject him, you needed to eject Sabonis because his actions were solely because of Sabonis, or what he at least believed Sabonis was doing. So then on top of it, now you're suspending him for a game, in a must-win game for the Warriors, and that really doesn't have to do anything with the league's decision, clearly. But regardless of that fact, I think that this was definitely way too critical of a punishment. You can take in the history and use that to your argument. That would be the only reasonable thing that I would hear out. But in my opinion, from what I saw, I didn't think that this warranted a suspension.
Now, if you had told me that Sabonis grabbed Draymond's ankle, twisted it, and Draymond now has an ankle sprain, I would say yes, he should get suspended. He should have got ejected from that game. And it's not much of a different comparison. Domantas Sabonis has a sternum contusion right now. They x-rayed him, and that he has a legit injury because of that stomp. And I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority here, but when I saw Sabonis and I saw his hands or arms on Draymond's ankle, he looked to me in a defensive position, guarding his head. It looked like he was guarding his head falling down.
There's an angle that it does look like he's guarding his face, but there's like 10 angles where it looks like he's grabbing his ankle.
Yeah, and well, to me, that's how it looked like. Regardless, whether he grabs his ankle, there's a play early in the season when Chris Middleton grabbed Dillon Brooks' ankle, and Dillon Brooks just fell. He didn't stomp Chris Middleton. He just fell, and he didn't make a big deal out of it. Draymond stomped Domantas Sabonis, which I think is the biggest thing. And it was intentional. He admitted it was intentional. That after the game, he said that he wanted to send a message to the officials because they haven't been calling these physical fouls. But I think it's very rich from the Warriors, coming from the Warriors, complaining about physicality and being overly aggressive. For years in the playoffs, the Warriors have gotten away with screens that are a bit too physical. You can argue that are illegal screens. They have gotten
illegal.
They have gotten away with Draymond Green just taking guys to the ground. I mean, last year, Draymond Green chased down and tackled Kevin Porter Jr., and he suffered a thigh contusion, and he missed time with that. And people saying that, oh, well, Sabonis was baiting Draymond. Well, that's a strategy, right? You want to try to bait a player who has a history of reacting emotionally, and that can cost his team. If I'm fishing and I throw the hook into the water and the fish catches my bait, am I going to throw him back into the water? That fish is mine. That fish is mine. So I think it's a similar situation here where last year in the finals, Draymond Green, after I think Jaylen Brown hit a shot on him, Draymond Green put his entire ankle and leg on Jaylen Brown's face and kind of just scraped his face while he was going down. Jaylen Brown didn't get up and react and kick him or, shove him. He didn't do any of that. He just
got up in his face.
He got up in his face. Well, it's different. Draymond didn't get up in Sabonis' face here. He he stomped him. He stomped him and used him as a trampoline. I think that is different, and that's why this warranted a suspension alongside his history. I mean, Draymond Green has a history of these dirty plays, and you can argue Sabonis has had dirty plays. Okay, whatever. I think that when it comes to this series and any team facing Golden State, you have to play physical because Golden State plays physical. Golden State gives you these cheap shots with their elbows and stuff. And now I see the Warriors are complaining about the Sabonis using the ball as a weapon. It's just ridiculous to me. And I think the Warriors, this happens with dynasties. When you're winning, you don't complain. But now you're losing. Something has to be wrong that's not our play. It has to be everything else but us. This has been one of the worst road teams in the NBA. They have not been able to defend the Sacramento Kings. And their offense, the Kings have been able to defend them very, very well. So to me, I have no sympathy for Draymond. Whether you want to believe it's right or wrong, that's another story. But me, I have no sympathy for the Warriors or Draymond, and I have no sympathy for their downfall because they have gotten the benefit of the doubt. They've gotten the benefit of the doubt on officiating for years now. And now when it's not going 100% lopsided their way, now it's a problem. Now the league has something against them. Newsflash. I think the NBA and Adam Silver would love it way more if the Warriors and the Lakers match up in the second round as opposed to the Kings and Lakers. That's just me, though.
Yeah, I got a text after this from one of my buddies saying, after the last 8 years, watching Warrior fans bitch and moan as the sun sets in this core is truly hilarious. I got a thought to myself, what Draymond Green did was simply a lack of composure. We're taught as young kids, if you then follow up someone doing something wrong to you, you're going to get caught for it. And Joel, you made the point too in December on the 15th day where the Grizzlies were smacking the Bucks at home. Middleton grabbed onto Brooks' leg. NBA players today are kind of trained to, hey, look, if someone does something remotely dirty to you, sell it, make it a big deal. When it was Josh Richardson in the playing game, he hits Josh Giddey kind of in the groin area. Giddey gets all pissed, pretending kind of to stir it up. And what do you know? Josh Richardson gets a flagrant one. And so when you make it a big deal, if Draymond falls on the floor and does some antics, Domas is getting a flagrant there, and Draymond's not getting suspended in a must-win game. Now the Warriors, the team that has to play the best offense in the NBA, is going to do it without their lifeline defensively. And if they lose this game in Game 3 without Draymond Green, this dynasty is over. That's the bottom line. This year, the Warriors have been the worst defense in the league without Draymond Green. And, we have these conversations about the best defenders in the world. And what does OG always say to us? Well, you never know when Draymond's going to do something stupid and not be available for his team. Jaren Jackson may be in foul trouble, but the defensive player of the year is at least not making mistakes like this. It's somewhat acceptable if you're going to be in foul trouble, but you have the composure upstairs. But when you can't, in the biggest moment, the last couple of minutes, be there for your team, that's when you let them down the most.
Yep. And shout out to Jaren, who's actually stayed out of foul trouble these first couple games in the playoffs, and I haven't really talked about that much.
Admittedly, he got his money's worth today.
The refs were blessing. They were blessing.
Oh, look, another complainer about the refs.
Come on, don't do that.
Who are they blessing, Drew?
Wow. Jaren Jackson.
Anthony
should have had an offensive, should have had 2 defensive, and instead, with their 6 fouls, he only had 2.
Edwards has 27 right now.
Yeah, is it 27-27? Is he going to hit the shot? He is. Okay. Wow, Minnesota's up. The Draymond situation is tough because, Drew, I see your side. When I saw it first happen, the kick to me almost looked like half a kick, right? If you really want to stomp on somebody, Draymond did not try his hardest to stomp on Sabonis. It almost looked like Draymond went to stomp on him, and halfway through, he was like, oh, shit, I'm bugging out, and kind of gave up halfway through. Now, Joel, of course, there's that injury out there. He got an X-ray. I don't know how much I believe it. I mean, it was a kick. It was illegal. It was dirty. It did not look like he was trying to injure Sabonis. If he wanted to injure him, that kick would have been a lot more violent. But
for sure,
what the NBA has done these last couple of weeks with the Mavs looking into their tanking, and now Draymond getting suspended mostly because of his history and because of not just the kick, but what he did after the play, riling up the crowd. I understand the NBA not wanting another Malice in the Palace situation where Draymond's hyping up this crowd, someone throws something at Draymond, and all hell breaks loose. especially because Adam Silver is in attendance too. I think Draymond has to be a little bit smarter than that. Your boss literally is in the stands. Let's not do anything, that's going to warrant a suspension.
Dumb. That was dumb. I'll give you that. That was dumb.
Yes.
Watch live Antonio Brown.
Yeah, the NBA looking into this, it's just weird that the NBA, like I said, these last couple of weeks, it seems more that it wasn't about the action itself Draymond had. It was more about everything Draymond's done in the past and everything that happened after the kick. And unless I'm wrong, and feel free to correct me, I feel like most of the time when a player gets suspended, it's because of, that technical foul, that flagrant foul, that actual play, and not exactly the player's history or what happens after the play. It is a bit of an outlier situation just because I feel like you don't usually see a player trying to, get the crowd to get angry in a sense, especially that they're all rooting against the Warriors. Draymond has this history. But overall, the NBA is doing this in a very non-NBA way that we have seen throughout the course of its history. Personally, I am praying on the Warriors' downfall. It's going to be tough to win this game 3. But I do think at the end of the day, if you're going to step on somebody, regardless of if it's a full kick or half a kick, and that setting, that environment with Adam Silver there, you can't be upset if you get suspended.
Maybe it's just me, but I kind of thought that Draymond double stomped him.
No.
I did not see that.
I don't know if it's just the replay I saw, but I saw Draymond stomped him, and then he used him as a launch pad to then jump.
I think he lifted off his left leg and jumped over him, but his left leg wasn't on the bonus.
And Joel, I would love to know if you would be okay to level with me here. Both should have got ejected. What's your opinion?
No.
So only Draymond deserved to get ejected for that, even though Draymond's actions were solely caused because of Sabonis?
Draymond shouldn't have been ejected, in my opinion. But
I agree.
So
but if you're going to eject one, you need to eject both.
So for example, if we're boxing out and we're being very physical with each other, we're being physical with each other, and we're being rough, and I elbow you, right? I elbow you a little bit and, hit your stomach a little bit, and then you throw me to the ground. Do I deserve to be ejected too?
I feel like that's completely different, where in this scenario, we're talking about someone who was on the floor, grabbed Draymond Green's ankle, whether was intentional or not. The video shows us that he grabs his ankle. And again, like I said, human instinct. If someone is grabbing you, you're going to react, whether you like it or not. That's just what's going to happen. And so, yes, Draymond Green's actions were not one that I would have sided with, but I don't think that was cause for ejection, especially when his actions were solely because of Sabonis.
But there's a difference, though. The grabbing of the ankle is less extreme than the stomp.
I mean, yes, I feel like, but in my opinion, they're both bad.
They're both
not
bad.
Great.
I mean, they're both bad. Like one is physical assault, one is murder.
Okay, relax. Okay, I don't think
obviously
it's a crazy
it's an extreme example. It's an extreme example for sure, but like one is obviously far more worse than the other.
No, I'm with you there. But it looked to the sense that Sabonis was trying to injure Draymond Green.
It didn't. And yes, like
it also, in my opinion,
there's angles.
There's
angles that defend both cases, because there's one, I think the Kings broadcast or their home broadcast showed that like it really did. He looked like he was covering his face, and Draymond's ankle was just right next to his face. But there's other ankles that look like he's actually just grabbing his ankle.
It didn't, for me at least. Draymond is a big strong guy. So for me, if Domas is actually grabbing his ankle with all his strength, I mean, Domas is a strong dude too. I mean, this guy's 6'11", he's very strong. If he's actually trying to grab his ankle and putting force on his ankle, I don't think Draymond would have been able to release it as easily as he did.
Also, with Sabonis, he got hit in the jaw in this game too. And he was like, I think it was earlier in the first half. And so that probably played a role in him trying to protect his face. Now, he also did hold on to him a little bit longer, but I don't think it's really that big of a deal. And in today's NBA, you want to see the best teams with their players out there. And that's why I'm like, dude, let him play on. Like, suspending Draymond, well, it does the league a favor. He's doing the stupid AB stuff, running around every time he gets ejected. He's trying to get his money's worth. But for the NBA, it just makes the product of this matchup, this series, so much worse. And if this ends in 4 or 5 games, which it will, if they win in Golden State tomorrow, the NBA is losing so much money here. I felt like that was a pretty bad decision from their point in business.
Well, who cares now? Let the Kings advance. Come on.
I want to see good basketball. Dude.
It would be.
It is good basketball still.
It'd be
It
poetic.
is. Now,
Draymond, the heart and soul, the loud guy that kind of riles up this dynasty is also the reason it ultimately comes to an end.
So now, recently there was a writer for The Athletic, Zach Harper, who said that the NBA should ban charges, and this is coming after